Yeah, all that personal talk and human interaction, that could just be fucking content. So why say it if the fucking red light's not on?
Exactly. It's like you start just babbling on about Captain America. I'm like, whoa. Do you see the fucking red light on? Is that recorded light on? Come on now. You save that shit.
Fucking 15 years of this shit. You should know this, bro. Come the fuck on. Yeah.
Though I feel like as time has gone on, we've been able to get to the point where it's like you could talk about it, and then it's almost like practice for like when you're really gonna record. Not like in the olden days where we'd get out of a movie theater and just drive home like in silence for like 20 minutes. Like, don't say anything, man. You're gonna spoil something good.
Because then you try to like reenact like that, it leads to a conversation, then you have a joke, and then you try to like artificially like it's kind of like it comes off like stilted, like that sound rehearsed. You could usually tell.
Yeah, like you wrote a script.
But in the moment it was fucking good. In the moment it was good, but
that's and the thing nobody saw it.
Yeah. So now try to recapture that magic. It's kind of like based on a true story shit. How much is this really based on a true story? It wasn't this cool.
Yeah. You learn later.
Other way around.
They can just place that on any movie, even if it has nothing to do with it. You know what I mean? And there's no legal ramifications to stop them from saying that. Everything can be true if you believe it's true.
Yeah, if you choose to, if you choose to.
If you're falling out of a window, by all means, believe in Superman. You got about 15 seconds. Might as well go real hard on that praying.
Just go Homer Simpson. Like,
get your Jimmy Olsen watch. You're like, come on.
What was it? It was some episode of The Simpsons. It's somewhere in one of the really good seasons, but just like Homer going down, like, I know I never really believed in you, but if you're up there, please save me, Superman.
Oh yeah. Well,
but not DC. We're going on Marvel.
Yeah. Speaking of other Superman in a sense, Marvel this time and whatnot, and we thought, you know what? There's a brand new Captain America movie coming out, so goddamn it, we got to go out and check it out and do a little fun podcast on it. And this is weird because we were talking about this at the beginning, but I was like, I personally didn't see a whole lot of advertisement for this movie. It felt like a poster appeared like 3 months ago. I never saw him play a single trailer in the cinemas for it. I did see some billboards when I was in Los Angeles, but I kind of feel like that doesn't count as much because you only see it if you are down there. You know what I mean? It's not like they're putting those billboards up all over the country and everything. It's kind of weird. It felt like it should be treated like a little bit bigger of a movie, but like they kind of treat it like, it's kind of like it's like this other little movie here. If you decide to see it,
Marvel's in a weird place right now just because a lot of things happening, but it feels kind of like right now, if it's not something they know is going to make a bunch of money right off the bat, they're kind of like something like Deadpool and Wolverine or a Guardians movie. They seem to be kind of like treating it kind of like the last leg of the DC Universe movies. You know what I mean? Kind of like it's there, just because it's like, because right now it's like DC, because there's that period where Marvel can do no wrong and the worst thing they ever did is okay, and most of the movies are really good or whatever. And then they got to the point where like, they've been kind of like, same age. They haven't been horrible, but then same age. And then too much same age came out. And then people are like, dude, I'm fucking sick of this shit. You know what? Was Marvel ever any good? Was it ever any good? Maybe it always just fucking sucks. Maybe we're just so fucking stupid, because it's been over 10 years. It hasn't been 20 years. It's been a little 10 years, over 10 years. So people at the point like, you know what? Maybe fucking Iron Man and fucking First Avengers and maybe that shit actually really fucking sucks. I'm like, I don't get, we're at that point. But like, give it another 10 years. Like, actually, no. I think Iron Man might be one of the greatest movies ever fucking made. People are gonna come back around. Same person.
Yeah, they did the same thing to Dark Knight. Remember, there was that period where people were like, is Dark Knight really that good? Let's be honest. You know what I mean? It's like, shut your fucking face.
Well, it's kind of like I could see more problems with Dark Knight than when I first saw it, but at the exact same time, like in hindsight, I mean, Dark Knight and Batman Begins probably are more like a little more like a closer spot in my heart because from the times when I saw them. But the more I think about it, I think the Batman actually might be a better movie. I got to think about it. It's not a movie you can put on all the time because it's like 3 fucking hours. But
Yeah, I mean, Dark Knight's pretty long too, but
yeah. Well, like Shire by like 30 minutes or whatever, give or take. But at the same time though, it's kind of like you said this before, like after 10 years everything's fucking lame, and then give it 20 years everything's cool again, and people bring it up because like Shadow the Hedgehog was super fucking lame, and everything about Shadow was super fucking lame. And then Sonic the Hedgehog 3, the movie, comes out, and everyone's all amped for Shadow, and they're leaning into the edginess. And then it was actually, you know what? Shadow was always cool. We were being dicks,
well, it's like that classic car syndrome thing, because it's like that thing that and the weird thing is, I think they say like a car becomes classic at like 25 years. So now we got some really interesting classic cars out there by that standard. But it's that thing that mostly after like, 10 or 15 years, people are like, oh, the car's fucking stupid. It's lame, looks dumb. And then all of a sudden it's like when it's past 25 years old, they're like, wow, that thing's actually kind of cool and almost kind of hip. Like it makes me kind of want to go out and get a Gremlin, like that kind of. Yeah, actually, I really like the Subaru Rats. I kid you not.
Maybe not the best thing to go off-roading in, though.
Yeah, might not be the greatest, but I'm very partial to like those like small, like tiny, like 4-wheel drive little vehicles. I don't know what it is about that.
Well, because they all had the little like seats in the back, so it looked like, dude, your friends go off-roading, you guys are just like partying in the back, like yeah. And then like how many of those things just fucking flipped, like, oh.
Oh shit! We should have put Tommy back there. He was 6'2". He was taller than the fucking.
He got a handstand.
Roof of the car. Yeah, he was holding it up. Which I mean, granted, at least the ceiling's not dented because of him.
R.I.P. Tommy.
Yeah. He had a noggin on him, boy. What? You know what? Practically a kickstand.
Kickstand Tommy. Yeah.
But those movies, though, it is kind of getting that point, too, where people do turn on it, just like music, just like anything else, games, all that stuff does. And then there's like a come around period, and I think we are at that point where, people are looking at the Marvel movies kind of a little bit down. And granted, I will say the last like 2 or 3 years, it has been kind of a mixed match. Like, I don't really think there's anything like god awful, but there's been a lot of movies that I've walked out of. I'm like, it was decent enough, but if I didn't see it, I wasn't missing out on anything. That was a feeling I got from a lot of the last couple years ones. If you missed out on it, you're okay, you're fine. It's not the end of the world. You know what I mean?
That's what I've gotten from the majority of the movies after Endgame. There's the ones I really liked. Like I really liked Deadpool, Wolverine. I really liked Guardians 3, the Spider-Man
Black
2 and
Panther
3.
2.
Black Panther 2 was really good. So there's still good ones, but everything aside from that,
I ironically liked the Black Widow movie. That sounds so weird for me to say after all these years, but like I strangely liked that one way more than I thought I was going to.
I didn't really care for that one. I mean, I didn't hate it or anything. That one was just okay to me. I think she deserved her own movie, but I think it should have. That movie came out as pandemic aside, it came out at the worst time because, like, all right, we know she's gonna make it because it's a prequel and she dies in the end game. So it's kind of like this movie should have came out like in phase 2 or phase 3. You know what I mean? Like a version of this movie, and going off like to. I think it was at that point where there are movies, and we're going to lead into Cap 4, but there's a point with these movies where, because we were kind of like starved for like Marvel stuff, because for a while it was like a Marvel thing every year, and they just came off of Endgame, and Endgame was awesome. Like, dude, let's get back to it. Then COVID happened, and Black Widow was like, oh, they all can't be Endgame or Guardians. It is what it is, And then WandaVision came out. That was pretty good. And Winter Soldier or Falcon and Winter Soldier came out, and that was like a little like bumpy too, but that was still pretty good. But then the movie started coming out again, and then like Spider-Man was good. Shang-Chi started off really good.
Yeah, the first half of it's great.
First half of it's like one of those things like, dude, this is like everything I want from like a martial arts Marvel movie. And then they go to like the CG world, and it just like, it doesn't like plummet, but it feels kind of because a lot of times there are the good Marvel sequels, but then there's the Marvel, like there's Ant-Man. First Ant-Man's fantastic. Ant-Man 2 and 3 are kind of whatever.
Yeah, especially
it felt kind Yeah, it feels like they got to like partway through like Shang-Chi. They just like, you know what? Let's throw in like the mediocre sequel where they go to the magic world and like see, the magic CG world. We'll just tack that on here. Oh, let's fucking do that. Yeah, sure. We'll just will be the sequel to this movie right here. It just kind of felt like that.
Yeah.
But anyway,
It's like getting to the top of a roller coaster. You're like, oh, it's gonna be so cool. It's gonna be so cool, and then it just kind of goes like boop and just like flattens out really quickly. You're like, oh, that was it. You led me on so much of those sweet battle scenes in San Francisco. Like, what the hell happened?
like battle scene in San Francisco when they go to Asia and there's the Fight Club and Abomination is there and there's like, yeah, sure, yeah, it could go out, it can go like over the top, but just when they get to it just slows down to a grinding halt once they get to the end. We're getting off topic. Anyway, yeah, Shang-Chi. But Cap 4, the thing with it is, in all honesty, I think if this movie, like not exact because things would be different plot wise or whatever, but a movie of this quality, I think if it came out during like phase 2 or phase 3, we wouldn't be seeing like a 40 or a 50 on Rotten Tomatoes. We'd be seeing like a 70. Like I don't think that this movie is really a bad movie. I mean, I liked it. I wasn't blown away. I liked it. I think that this would be something to the effect of like, you know what? It was fun. It has moments, but we're just kind of waiting for the next Avengers or waiting for the next Spider-Man or whatever. I feel like it would have been like that. And I feel like since we've had so many of those in a row, people are getting a little more sick of it. And plus, this movie had a lot of reshoots. And when that gets around, people start to immediately just go in with low, bottom of the floor expectations.
And strangely enough, I kind of walked out of this one, and I was like, in the last couple of years, this might be like in my top 5 favorite ones of the, of this kind of era of Marvel. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. I didn't think it was, perfect or anything like that, but I liked it more than I actually even thought I might have. I didn't think I wasn't thinking anything lower, like I guess, some other people were going in with those expectations, but yeah, I actually walked out and I was like, I was actually more impressed than I thought I was going to be. I was kind of thinking it was going to be something like the Marvels or anything like that, or the Miss Marvel movie or whatever, where, it's just like, there's some moments in there, but, it's just, it feels like it should be more than, I don't know, like that, or some of those other ones like that. This one I actually was like, you know what, there was some cool stuff. The weird thing about it, though, is it feels like it kind of needed, like, one more element in it, like, because the strange thing is pretty much it's Captain America, but I think some people are gonna be kind of honeypotted into it thinking it's Steve Rogers, because like even like Falcon, like on the movie poster, he's like shoved in the back, his head's just like slightly poking out from behind the shield. So if you just kind of take a glance at it, if you were driving on the road, you know what I mean? I think there's a lot of people be like, oh, look, there's Steve Rogers right there, and of course, you got Red Hulk punching down on him and everything like that. But I mean, I think I know there's going to be somebody walking in there and be like, wait a second, that's not Steve Rogers, because if you didn't see, if you didn't pay enough attention, you don't know what the heck's going on. But I thought it was just cool, just the fact that, hey, you're giving Falcon pretty much his own movie. He's coming in as the new Captain America and whatnot. I know he's, was he Captain America in the Bucky show, or the Bucky and Falcon show?
Last episode. And it's not one of those things, it's not like he gets it at the end of the episode. It's like for the whole last episode, he comes in with, updated, like, because Bucky, they're going after or they team up, and they team up with what's his name, the bad guy from Zemo. They team up with Zemo,
okay,
to track someone else down, and he's a war criminal wanted by Wakanda, and Wakanda kind of comes in like, Bucky, we gave you that arm, what the fuck? So they're kind of trying to outrun like Okoye and some of the Wakandan royal guard on top of that. But then at some point they come to an understanding agreement, and they give Sam Wilson an updated Captain America suit. That's where all the Wakandan fusion stuff comes from and all that.
Okay, cool. Because that's the other thing, since I've never seen any of the TV shows and stuff like that, the movies in the last couple of years kind of do that thing, like, what, you didn't see them? Like, what, you too cheap to get a Disney Plus subscription? like they have that kind of attitude nowadays, where I remember, like, with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they're like, okay, here's the thing. There's going to be people that watch the movie, and there's going to be people that watch the show, and we just got to kind of assume that they might not watch both. By now they're like, fucking, what? You don't got Disney Plus? Like, come on.
Are you fucking poor?
Because there's some of those movies I remember. I think it was the Doctor Strange 2 movie. That was that one where like you could still piece together somewhat, but there were some things in there I was like, the hell is going on in this movie? like talk about giving you no exposition on what it is. It's like what I mean, like go out and watch fucking 10 hours. Like you'll figure it out.
The WandaVision one was actually pretty good, and I'll say even Falcon and the Winter Soldier was probably my personal favorite of them. But in all honesty, watching it, like it could have been a 2-hour movie. Like I can watch it, and I could say I watched it and I was never bored, and it flowed smoothly. But the part where they team up with Agent 13, or the part where they work with Zemo and Zemo betrays them or whatever. I couldn't tell you. Was it episode 2? Was it episode 3? I remember the big points, and then like US Agent comes into it. So
that's
like,
cool.
yeah. And his story is really interesting. So, and he's going to be in Thunderbolts also.
Yeah.
So
I thought that was the first time he was appearing was in Thunderbolts. I was like, oh, badass, US Agent.
No,
I remember as a kid, I used to get confused on that character because I thought that was just Captain America, like in a variant costume.
Yeah. No, it's he comes in and he is like in Falcon the Winter Soldier, and he's basically trying to work with Bucky and Falcon, and he's like, all right guys, we gotta work together, I'm the new Captain America, pointing to because Falcon hands the shield off to like a museum, and as soon as he hands it off to a museum, like cool, and they run and they just give it to like the next quarterback they can find, from like fucking like bumfuck middle America anywhere, like here, you're the new Cap, and then he's just like, what the fuck? And they make a joke because he has I don't remember his name, but he has a sidekick too, kind of like his own Bucky that's black, so it's kind of like, well, he's got a black sidekick, huh? Kind of like something kind of like that.
He's like, and I'm the black Captain America, just because he's wearing the black outfit.
It was nuts. He doesn't know. It's actually, I don't think it's black. It's still, it's like the same pattern, but it's blue. So
okay, well, because I know in the comic book it's literally black.
He gets the black version at the end of it, and so basically, I'll just tell you because I know you're never going to watch it. He's kind of like trying to keep up with like, hey Bucky, hey like Sam, Bucky, we know you guys are heroes. We love you guys, but we're trying to work together as a team. We should probably stick together. Yeah, fuck you. Just keep on doing their own thing. And he starts to get pissed off. He's just like, the fuck, guys, come on. We're supposed to be. We're on Team USA. Come on, And then like a terrorist kills like his partner, and then like he just goes like, cameras on him. He just like kicks his shield. They don't full and show it, but you get it. He basically decapitates a dude with the shield, just puts it back on. There's like blood all over it. And he's like, what? And then he basically loses. He loses it. Then he's no longer Captain America. But then they basically say, hey, maybe we'd use you for a Black Ops team. And here we are like 5 years later or whatever.
Yeah, here's the Thunderbolts, and Bucky in charge. And even if that trailer does look like, it looks like it'll be an interesting one, but it does look like they're really trying to ape some Suicide Squad in that one.
It does, because that's what the Thunderbolts are. They just are the Marvel Suicide Squad. But the thing is, this iteration of the Thunderbolts, it's really kind of like, I mean, I want to see it, but because it actually does look fun to me.
Yeah, I like the characters. I will say it's like the character choice. It's like I pretty much like the majority of all those ones in there.
Well, my thing is it's like the lack of variety of the characters, because the only one with actual powers is Ghost from Ant-Man 2. And then you have like, okay, everybody's either a super soldier or an assassin with a gun, or a super soldier with a gun. You know what I mean? That's like everybody's kind of the same thing on that. Maybe that's the thing. They're like a depowered, low-level team. So I mean, I like the new Black Widow. I like Florence Pugh. I like US Agent. I like Bucky. So I think that I think it'll be a fun movie. I don't give a fuck about the Sentry, but he's the villain, so I guess that works.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think it's that one where it's like they even kind of. I remember in the trailer they kind of make it out like, "Yo, none of us have like any like real superpowers. We're just a bunch of drugged up like agents." Yeah. No, that one could be fun. I'll check that one out. That one actually has given me hope. This one though, going back to Cap 4, I do think Anthony Mackie does a great job as Sam Wilson. I do think Sam Wilson deserves another Captain America movie. I hope he gets it, because this one, I liked it. I think there's a lot of like, the thing is, I think people are being a little harsh on it. I don't think it's a perfect movie by any means, but I don't think it's a bad movie either. I think that like we could probably
so, like backseat director, like a bunch of like I would have done this from the comics, I would have done that from the comics, but at the end of the day, like it moved relatively smooth. It was a lot of action. It was never boring. There was a lot of lifting was doing. It was a very ambitious movie.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the thing too is, what I kind of noticed in it is, this is kind of the weird thing is it's kind of like it's a mixed match of being pretty much a Sam Falcon movie, and then it's also a Hulk movie without Hulk being in the movie. Like,
Yeah,
and I almost felt like that was
two of the
almost kinda
villains
like,
are Hulk.
yeah, it almost felt like it should have almost been maybe like a team up movie, kind of like Thor Ragnarok, where it's like, okay, it's Hulk and, Thor. Like this one almost felt like it could have been like Captain America and then, Hulk comes in there, maybe not, he doesn't be there maybe the whole time, but maybe at some point. I do get kind of why he's not there because the whole point is to show that like, Falcon can actually be strong without taking drugs.
Yeah,
That's like the moral of the movie. Like, is like, maybe
your Wheaties, not your like,
even though at the very
steroids.
end he's like, he has that line where he's pretty much like, fuck that shit about not taking the super soldier serum. Fuck you, Bucky.
I will
Fucking
say,
cocksucker. Just be like, wow, that's what gave the movie the R rating. Is he just goes off on a tyrant, like literally on Bucky, fucking asshole.
like for like
So-called
3 minutes
best
straight,
fucking
looking
friend.
in, like 3 minutes straight, looking into the camera.
And then it just shows like Sam just gets a hold of some super soldier serum, just shooting up. That's the Marvel post scene credits.
Just just goes back to the raft and just kicks Harrison Ford in the dick. There you go. That would have been better than the post scene credits we got, where it's just like something is coming.
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been amazing. Like fucking like, like a war is coming. Like, oh really? A war's coming? Oh god, I wonder what it is. Oh god, oh no, more shit's gonna happen in this multi-million-dollar fucking franchise. Like what it's like they're probably trying to be vague. They're probably trying to be vague.
Scene, but
they're probably trying to be vague in case they have to like reshoot something. Because if they said like Doom is coming, people are like, oh, and just start like jerking off right there and like standing up in the audience. But like,
Doom should just slap down this iron cock just fucking right on the table. And it just says Doom's coming, just poof.
Blows a load right into the screen. And they're like, that's the only way they can get a Robert Downey Jr. come back as Doom. They had to like pitch that to him.
Yeah, the old like Iron Man and Doom comic, like
they're not actually. The thing is, did you know about all that about Downey coming back as Doom?
No, I didn't know about that. I was just thinking there's like those comics in the '80s where it's like Iron Man and Doctor Doom. I think they kind of do a mixed match of teaming up and fighting, and then teaming back up again. And
doing a really weird thing. So it's just Robert Downey Jr. playing Doom. He's basically just a variant, and he's Doom. But it's not like, oh, if Iron Man became Doctor Doom, he's just Robert Downey Jr. playing Doctor Doom. So it's okay.
Probably what happened is Robert Downey Jr. went home, sat on his couch for 6 months, and went, "The fuck am I doing? Like I was getting the biggest paycheck in the world. Why the hell did I give that up?"
Well, Doolittle didn't pan out.
Yeah, I think that was what it was. It was the equivalent of like when a band goes like, "This is it. This is our final tour, the farewell one. We're gonna see you all later." And then 6 months later, you're just sitting there fucking twiddling your thumbs, being like, "Life fucking sucks without the road and the music and all the shit. I mean, what am I doing? I got nowhere else to go." You call, and then you realize you're playing at like some like fucking casino, and you're playing on like the third stage, not even like the first stage, and you're like a huge band, and you're like, you literally gotta call everybody up, and be like, "Dude, no, we're getting the fucking band back together. You don't know what I just saw."
Yeah, I'm sure he's doing fine.
They put me in a Motel 6. A Motel 6!
I'm sure he's doing fine.
They didn't even leave the light on for me!
Motherfuckers! Like, kicks a little mini fridge over. You have to pay for that, We're not covering that.
That's coming out of yours. Maybe if you're a regular band, you'll be okay, but no, not the solo project.
I think that might be that might cover the whole cost of the venue. I think that's what it's going to come to. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. Whole venue payment. No, like, I do think, I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can go off about. Why is Marvel having trouble with this? Why is Marvel having trouble with that? But I think one of the things with this movie is it is trying to do a lot, but then like at the exact same time, I also feel like it's like how do I say it? How do I put it? It's like it didn't really feel, because when I watched, like, I mean, they all kind of have a similar look because, you know, they're all the same studio and whatnot, and they're all kind of flat. We wish they were a little bit more colorful, but they felt like Winter Soldier had a very particular look. Like it looked like it was kind of like trying to like harken back to, like, you know, like either a Jason Bourne or like 70s espionage film. You know, Guardians obviously has his very own look. Even the Avengers movies have their own kind of look. Even though one's way more zanier, something like the Marvels in this have a very like this and like so like Marvels and Captain America 4 have a very kind of like, oh, it's kind of like a TV look to them almost. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't look like incredibly cheap or nothing, but it doesn't really look like it really stands out so much like in the visual department, you know, just like, oh, it's a Marvel show, you know, or it's a Marvel movie.
Yeah, it does have a little bit of a straight to DVD kind of feel, or straight to video, you know, in a sense. Yeah, that it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's like one of those ones. It's like, yeah, it's kind of like they're just pumping them out. So maybe that's kind of what does it, you know. And even though there is a lot of good stuff in here, I mean,
There is, yeah. I'm really kicking it down. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, well, it's that one where it's like, I get it, because it's one of those ones where it's like, it just needs, I feel like, a little bit more, and then that would make it kind of pop just that extra bit. Because obviously, yeah, Sam does great. Him as, you know, Captain America, you know, the combo Captain America with Falcon. I think that's just really cool. Just the idea, he's got the shield, he still has the wings, you know, he still has his
I also like the new Falcon too.
Yeah, and then you got the new Falcon boy in there too, you know, who, you know, he works well because he's like that kind where he's got that teenage, like, he's like, oh yeah, I'm all spirited and everything like that, but not too annoying enough where it's just like, pump the brakes there, Billy. You know, it's one of those ones. Like, no,
he's an adult. He's not like a kid. Yeah.
Yeah, he's well, yeah, I guess this was, yeah, he's an adult. He's like 23 or something like that, you know, but he's still the boy.
Well, and then I also
he hasn't earned the right to wear the pants yet.
You know, that's how he was almost just go like, you know, he's Bird, you know, lose the pants, just make you Robin, call it good. We'll pay. We have that Disney money. We can pay off Warner Brothers.
You know,
but
and then
yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say you go ahead.
Oh, you can go. You can go.
Well, then I was gonna say, and then the other part though is I do like the Harrison Ford as Red Hulk. You know, for a second there I had to like double check. I'm like, wait a second. I'm like, Harrison Ford wasn't in The Incredible Hulk, because there's a lot of callbacks to that movie. And then I was like, oh, no. It was, what's his face? Was,
John Hurt, and he died.
Yeah, John Hurt, yeah. Okay. Because it was like one of those ones, I thought about that for a second while I was watching it. I was like, what? Because it's like, it's been a good moment since I've seen Incredible Hulk. So I was like, maybe Harrison Ford wasn't that. I'm like, I don't remember that, but maybe he was. You know, because I was like, well, there's fucking Liv Tyler and everything like that still. Like, so they still have a lot of those elements, which I do think was kind of cool that they called back to it. But once again, it was kind of strange that there was literally no Hulk or Bruce Banner in this one, before the fact that how much Hulkness was in this movie.
Yeah, it is kind of, it's weird. It is kind of like a sequel to like the second MCU movie that everyone doesn't talk about, you know. But at the exact same time, it also feels kind of like I guess I can see this movie without the Hulk, but at the same time, I was kind of like, when I heard the leader was going to be in it, I was, oh, that's cool. That's cool. They're coming back around to that. And for a minute, I was like, because I mean, I knew it was going to be PG-13, so I knew it was going to be a little toned back. But like, I'm not going to lie. I'm a huge Hulk fan, but I don't really know a lot about the leader. I don't know too much about him. So when I heard he was going to be like one of the main villains of it, like, okay, all right, cool. And they're not showing him for a minute, and then you see him in the dark. You see like one green glowing eye, and his face looks a little fucked up. Like, oh, he's going to look fucked up. He's going to look gross. It's still going to be within PG-13, but like Two-Face and Dark Knight was within PG-13. So there's still probably a lot of weird, gross shit you could probably do. Or there's even like when I forgot his name, but the bad guy from Guardians 3 lost his face, and you saw like he was missing his nose, exposed eye and muscle and all that. Like, there's still a lot you can do with PG-13. So he's gonna look fucked up, and he's gonna look cool. And then he comes in like, Oh, I guess it's good if it's a '90s Sci-Fi Channel show. Shit,
Yeah,
really?
he kind of
I
looked Mars
mean,
Attacks like.
not even Mars Attacks, man. He looked
Yeah.
like, in all honesty, if he had three little dots on his head, I'm like, oh, is this like CW's like, is this like Brainiac for a CW show? You know?
Yeah, he definitely is kind of a little bit goofy looking. Yeah,
Like I'm not expecting like the orange regal suit with the shoulder pads or even the head that goes that high up. But I was expecting like something more than just kind of like this most stereotypical. It looked like a Nickelode, like something for a Nickelodeon. Like
he just
what
had
was
these
that
bumps on his head. That was about
What
it.
was that? What was that show? Like that? There's a wannabe Star Trek show where those kids get on the spaceship and they get lost in space, like Space Quest or some shit. It looked like some alien from that out of the '90s.
That's probably true. Yeah, yeah. No, he was kind of a interesting one. And I was trying to think. It's like I know of that character, but once again, yeah, like Hulk's more one of those ones like. Other than like maybe one singular solo Hulk book, like everything's always just been, oh, Hulk appears here in this Avengers story, or he appears in this. But yeah. Well, and he's just sort of playing this mastermind guy, and like the backgrounds kind of making everybody kind of do some crazy shit and doing some mind control stuff and messing with old people's phones.
Yeah, well, that was another thing. Like, so I'm going to lean back to it. I'm not like one of those people who's like, I'm not surprised this movie because I'm wondering what the original movie was. So the original movie was more political, just because first off, it wouldn't have came out the year. It was supposed to come out like a year and a half ago. It wasn't supposed to come out now, so pre-election and all that. So I wonder if there are things that were like, they kept on reshooting and like, oh, maybe it's too political, it might offend people. Because the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the show, was actually very political. It was it spoke on like race relations and I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on the fucking word right now. It just spoke like systematic oppression and all that kind of stuff, and just like it was also during like COVID and during like George Floyd and all that too. So it was very like, yeah, it was pretty political. It wasn't all planned. I don't think it was planned to come out during that time, but at the exact same time, it was like, it was, people gave it credit for that. And one of the big things they brought out was they alluded to it in this, but in Captain America or Falcon Winter Soldier, they flat out say it. Isaiah Bradley, the original the Black Captain America, who was like basically a test subject, and then they sent him into like do jobs in Korea and all that, and they experimented on him and all that. Like he was a lot more of kind of like, fuck America, fuck this government, used me, spit me out. Acknowledges everything he doesn't attack Steve Trevor, but acknowledges everything Steve Rogers. Steve Rogers, yeah.
Steve Trevor, fucking, I'm crossing over there. Him and his stupid fucking visible jet.
Can't fly that fucking jet for shit. Always crashing into fucking islands with lesbians and shit. Yeah. No, like it was like, yeah, sure, they'll sing the praises of like Steve Rogers all day, but they'll pretend like I don't exist and all this and that. And it brought up the thing about like, how can you as a black man wear that shield? What the fuck's this country really done? Because there was even things like they were like, he was coming back from the blip and like that the IRS was repossessing his house or his family's house and all this. And he's just like, well, how the fuck were they supposed to pay this when like we were blipped? What the fuck do you think's happened? The whole world was blipped, So it's bringing in all these kind of things. And so it was very overtly political. And then
and that was all in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
Because I was trying to look that up afterwards because I'm like, is this guy in the comics? I'm like, I feel like I don't know if I've ever really seen him before. And then it just sounded like when I looked it up, it just sounded like he was only from the movie universe.
He is in the comics. His son, I'm pretty sure he is. Isaiah Bradley, I think his name is.
Yeah, because I couldn't find it when I was looking up. Not like I did the world's like longest research, but it popped.
Yeah, he is. He's in the comics. He's in the comics.
Okay, because I was trying to see how far back he went, because I was like, I thought that character was really cool. I really enjoyed it, but like I didn't know much about him though.
Yeah, he's in the comics, and his son becomes not his son, his like grandson or his great grandson becomes I forgot his name. Is it Patriot? A young there's a young kid Captain America who comes in later, and his name's like
Oh yeah,
Patriot
there
or
he
something.
is.
He's part of the Young Avengers. Yeah. So
Yeah, so
um,
he's pretty new. He came in 2003. So
yeah, so newish. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
But anyway,
Sweet. I'm gonna have to find a book where he appears in because it's like, as I said, that character I almost like that character more than I liked. Well, I mean, I liked a lot of characters, but like he really stood out. I'm like, this is a badass character. I'd really like to see more on him.
well, you felt bad for him too, because the thing is, a lot of people are really, I feel like like saying this movie sucks, whatever, but it just like his performance and the reaction he has, because he's like, okay, I'll finally go. I'm going to the White House, and how long? I'm finally getting my roses, whatever, and all that shit. Like, but like, it's
I
kind
finally
of
took off my boxing uniform, my sweatpants that Falcon always likes to make fun of me with.
yeah. But then the thing is, though, when he gets there, though, and like you saw what he did, but you just know, I knew it was going to be the leader or whatever. I think anybody who knows the leader knew of the leader. Like, oh, he's got a big brain. He's got a fucking scheme or some shit. The part where he's all like, my suit, because it's like it's the suit he married his wife in and all that too. So he just felt kind of bad. Like, I can't go back in, man. I can't go back in. Like, he just like, oh, this. You just feel so fucking bad for him right there,
30 years, the first time you leave the house, you're like, I fucking knew it. all it was. He's like, I haven't left that gym in 30 years.
If I get anywhere near the president, don't let me do it. Don't let me do it. Like, oh, you'll be cool. You'll be cool. Oh, all right, I'll try. Like, oh no, it wasn't leader. He just got that fucking mad.
Don't worry, the president, he stopped terrorists in Air Force One. You can trust him.
That's another thing, because like Red Hulk, I really like Red Hulk, and I'd be lying if I said I kept up with everything Hulk did. The Hulk I know, the Hulk stuff I've read, it's like Planet Hulk through World War Hulk to the Jeff Loeb run that introduces Red Hulk in that whole arc. And the thing about Red Hulk is we don't know who Red Hulk is for a while. They try to make you think it's Samson, but for a while, because his mustache disappears when he becomes Red Hulk, or he has a fake mustache or something. But like the thing about Red Hulk is he's not like Hulk mean, Hulk smash. He's like, he likes talking shit. He talks. They got the thing where the thing about this Hulk, he's so mad, he's so angry that just like things burn when they touch him and all that. Like they kept that detail, which was cool. But like the thing with this Hulk is he's just like, he loves talking shit. He's just not another angry generic Hulk. So I was a little bit of kind of like when he was not in control, I was kind of like, I thought it would be cooler if like, I guess it makes him less like, I mean, the thing is, Thunderbolt Ross isn't really much of a sympathetic character in general, but I guess that this would have taken away sympathy for him in the way of like, if they made it like, I'm afraid someone's going to kill me. So I've been toying with gamma radiation and because I can't trust Secret Service this day and age,
Yeah. I mean, look at that little Black Widow lady. She's like 4'2".
Yeah, I was like, what's she doing? Like biting ankles? Yeah.
Yeah, I hate this when I say it, that there is definitely like, because like there is like a somewhat level. It's like not saying that like a small person can't take down a big person, but that was a little bit of a suspension of disbelief right there. I felt like you had to take on. Let's be honest. Go ask anybody who's into like the martial arts, and they'll tell you that girl's not going to be able to do anything for that president.
Well, it's one of those things like it's a world of crazy fantasy and science fiction, so I go with it. But at the exact same time,
I'm kind of like suspension of disbelief, but
you could have said she had like the super soldier serum or some shit. But at the same time, I don't think she did.
Getting like a deca bump on her shoulder.
Thing is, I imagine her. Well, I just imagine her doing like that thing, like that thing like Black Widow likes to do, where she like jumps on him, like then like does the thing where she spins around him 3 times and like brings him down. Like I imagine her trying to do that, and the person just stands there like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And she's like spinning around, she just flies off them, like just the momentum
just fucking swats her away like a fucking fly, like flies across the room.
Yeah, because I was like, what the fuck is that tiny ass? Like for a minute, because I know she's a character from the comics, but at the exact same time, I was like, because sometimes they do that thing where they like, here's a like over the top character from the comics, but now they're just an agent, or now they're just I'm like, okay, that's what you're doing with her. I'm like, oh no, you're keeping her a superhero. Oh, okay. Sure, I guess. It was just one of those things. It was one character I really knew that much about, but at the exact same time, like, her. Oh, okay, all right. I mean,
Yeah, Harrison Ford's just like, what? Come on. Like, look, have you ever seen her go through a ventilation shaft before? Shit, that's one rodent. Sir, how many times do you need someone to go through a ventilation shaft? I don't know. It happens a lot. I watched that Metal Gear Solid before. It seems like it's very common.
just turns, you see the ventilation shaft, like she's already up there, like
scurrying along. You know what I mean? Especially, have you ever dropped your keys and like in a sewer drain or something like that? Like you can just literally slide her down there and she'll go get it for you. No more problems.
Fuck the sewer drain, just like in like the like like in like the limo of the presidential limo. Like, oh, my keys fell behind the I don't know why I'm driving the keys. Harrison Ford likes to drive his own limo. Just saying, fly his own helicopter. He can drive his own.
Fly
limo.
his own Millennium Falcon. It's okay.
Yeah, drops the keys between like the seats. Like, oh, will you go reach that for me? She has small hands. She can get down there.
Weaves her way into it. So you see, I like these abilities here. That's a superpower. I also really just like Harrison Ford.
Like a vending machine. Like the vending machine does not give his his bag of chips, so she just
weaves her way up in there and gets it.
She has to climb to the very top of it. The very top.
Sir, you're the president of the United States. Yeah, but I'm not paying for snacks. That's the most un-American thing ever, is when it steals your 50 cents.
No federal money's going to Frito-Lay. No tax dollars.
The one thing I do like is with the idea of Harrison Ford being Red Hulk. Just reminds me of just Harrison Ford just getting pissed at other people in real life, and then just Harrison Ford hulking out. Like, I don't know, when Harrison Ford does Hulk out, you're like, that's actually pretty badass. I never would have thought we would have got a Hulk Harrison Ford, but I really kind of enjoyed that.
What's the thing? Like, when I first heard this movie was going to have Harrison Ford as Thunderbolt Ross, I'm like, is he going to Hulk? Is he going to Hulk? And then like I hear Leader's going to be in it. I hear this is going to be in it. Like, is she going to Hulk? And they show the trailer. I'm like, he's going to Hulk, But then like at the same time, like, oh, he doesn't Hulk until like the last 15 minutes. So I was kind of hoping I was kind of hoping for him to be like a little bit more back and forth, because the thing is, you can see in this movie, because Thunderbolt Ross is in the Marvel films has never been like a really sympathetic character. He's just been more of a force for them to go against, kind of just enable the heroes. But then like in this one, he's like yeah, I was kind of a dick. I'm trying to be better, but I still got my fucking anger issues, man. These motherfucking, so it just kind of comes across more like that. And like, he's somebody who's trying to be better, but so I think that's also another thing. Like, I think they should have just left him an asshole, just left him an irredeemable asshole, and just he hulks out like 2 times in the movie, maybe, you know what I mean? And he's like,
yeah,
he should have been, I think, maybe more of the villain, in all honesty. Like, Leader could have been there, but I think it would have been better if he was more of a villain or of an anti-hero kind of thing, Well,
it could have been one of those ones. I know it's kind of just gets like the armchair directing part, but like that thing where
I'm very much armchair directing.
Leader kind of gets the plot in motion, but then maybe from like the halfway point, you get Red Hulk, and Red Hulk starts going on a rampage, and it's that thing where it's like, yo, Falcon, you got to go reel him in. This is for America, damn it. You can't let the president just go terrorizing, the country, literally. Because it is true. Because I will
grabbing people by the pussy and all that with those giant red hands.
I will say, you wonder how those hands get red. It's like, oh, geez. He's got a special selection. But is the middle of the movie is a little bit like, it's not that it's ever like boring, but like I felt like there could have been that one more big action scene in the middle, and I think that really could have been like the first Hulk transformation, instead of just saving it for the end, and then realistically it's just at the end. It's a cool fight, but it literally just takes place on like a strip of highway or whatever. It's just like Falcon, Hulk, kind of back and forth. Like sometimes with Hulk, I feel like it's kind of nice if you can get him running through some shit and like, you know, jumping over some buildings, and you know, there's a little bit of destruction. I'm not saying there's not, but like it does feel like it takes place in like, hey, this is a safe part of town.
Well, the thing about like, this is the comic book fan of me talking too much probably, but like, and the thing about when Red Hulk was introduced is, first off, we didn't know it was Thunderbolt Ross right off the bat. It was kind of like playing with your expectations of who you thought it was. And Red Hulk kicked the shit out of Green Hulk. And I remember where OG Hulk went. I don't think he just had a bruised ego. He just got smacked out of the way for a while. And he was actually not the main character of the comic for a while. For a little while, just standard Hulk comics, it was Red Hulk was the main character for this arc for a period of time. And then proper Hulk comes back and like knocks the fuck out of him, and it's revealed to be Ross. One of the things that happens in that story is like it's revealed that like Ross was like murdered the Abomination, and one of the things they got, the only person that could kill the Abomination is like someone with big enough hands to fire this big ass fucking gun, and you know, just some kind of cartoony shit. Like there was a murder mystery of who killed the Abomination, and it was like, so the idea of kind of like him just being like, I'm going in, like, maybe I get like the whole presidential thing, but just the idea of like, I don't even need him to be a president. I just like the idea of like Ross just being Red Hulk and actually being similar to how he is in the comics. I know maybe Harrison Ford doesn't want to act with a bunch of dots on his face. I don't fucking know. Like, I'm pretty sure the reason why they didn't give him the mustache is just because Harrison Ford's like, I'm not wearing a fucking mustache. You know, I'm not growing a fucking mustache. Fuck that. Like, okay, I guess he's all right. It's fine. You know,
we'll just CG in some for like some 10 years ago scenes where you're yelling at the camera.
Yeah. So it's probably like, I honestly think like, I don't know. Most of my complaints about it come from more of like a comic book stance, more than like what's really wrong with the movie. I mean, I could go off that too. There's a lot I can complain about the movie, but ultimately, I did like it. You know, you know, it moved at a fast pace. The action was good. Anthony Mackie killed it. You know, Harrison Ford killed it.
Yeah, no. Like the core characters, and that's the thing is like, I think if you just take it just as a flick itself, it is pretty enjoyable. It's one of those ones that like, you're not gonna be like one of those ones like, holy shit, I gotta own this. But it is one of those ones that, unlike some of the other ones where you walk out of them and you go, if I didn't see that, whatever. This one at least made you feel like, that was worth it. You know what I mean? Like, I still had a good time. You know what I mean? And even just, it's just small things in life sometimes. But you know, if you just get like a good Hulk fight scene, like that almost in itself can always be worth the price of admission. You know, in a sense. And the Anthony Mackie fighting the Hulk is pretty badass. You know, I think it's just that weird one that like, even though it's got a lot of like minor kind of characters in it, I felt like it just maybe needed, once again, just like a third character to kind of have like a triangle, whether that be Bruce Banner, which it sort of feels like it kind of should have been. You could have almost even had Bucky even come in. He's there for a cameo, but like he literally just comes in and goes like, hey, I'm running for Congress or whatever the hell I'm doing. I'm Bucky. Don't shoot up, kids. You know, I mean, I did, and look, I'm 110 fucking years old, but so go fucking figure.
Make sure you have a good hookup.
Yeah, make sure you know what they always tell you, you don't want to be the first one in line. Well, guess what? Me and Captain America were the first ones in line, and go figure. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's better to be the first in the door.
Just saying. That's all.
But like, so that's all Bucky's really in there. So it's not like he has any action scenes or anything like that. And then and the other one too, I thought, sounds kind of minor, but I feel like Liv Tyler could have been in there a little bit more, because they keep mentioning, Betty Ross, her dad, she doesn't know about him anymore, and he's like, honey, I got rid of the mustache. I think it's going to be okay. You want to go walk through the Japanese maple flowers? Not in Japan. No, the ones that are outside of the White House. Jesus Christ.
I knew it wouldn't happen. I knew it wouldn't happen. I knew it wouldn't happen, but I was like, it would be so fucking ballsy if like she goes up to her dad and she's like, you know what, Dad? I always fucking hated you. like, oh, you fucking bitch. And she just punches him out, and she's Red She-Hulk, because that's in the fucking comics. So,
be like, everybody's gammed up at this place.
like, Anthony Mackie just, like, steps back, like, okay, like, you're such a fucking prick, Dad, I fucking hate you. Oh, you're just like your fucking mother, you spoiled fucking bitch. Fuck you.
And then that's just what it's like that's the, like, maybe you put the Falcon fighting Red Hulk in about the middle, and then that's what it actually leads into. It's like, oh, it's she Red Hulk versus Red Hulk.
And she just,
and
I'm going to make sure
family
I got that
feud
right.
thing going on.
Red She-Hulk. Make sure I'm right there, but that's Betty, I think. Red She-Hulk. Is that Betty Ross? That's the thing. He thought his daughter was dead at the time, and then it came about. Yep, that's Betty Ross.
See? Yeah.
He thought his daughter was dead at the time, and then in the middle of the mission, like She-Hulk, Red She-Hulk comes in, and she's all like fucking early 2000, like mid 2000s, like heavy metaled up basically. And then he's on. Then later it's like, oh, that's my fucking daughter. Holy shit, So.
Yeah, way to go, honey.
Yeah.
You see, I'll say that right there, I think, would solve all my little kind of minor issues, because that
the hypothetical joke I made about, like,
well, what I mean is, like,
out of nowhere, just beating the fuck out of her dad.
But the thing is because that adds in that third character, which is Hulk in a sense, but instead we're getting Red She-Hulk, so that kind of makes the story feel more like why it kind of has, because it's more Hulk than it is Captain America Falcon. You know what I mean? It's definitely, he's just sort of there, realistically. And then everything else is sort of a Hulk story that he happens just to be taken care of. I mean, he has his own elements, too, and so on like that. But if you would add her in there, because then, one, it gives Liv Tyler more stuff, which I feel would make more sense, because for the fact of how much that this thing's kind of like spinning around, like, oh, my daughter, Betty Ross, you know what I mean? She's fucking pissed at me. It's not my fault. I forced her onto a military base for 45 fucking years.
45 years. 44th birthday. No, you're still not going out with that goddamn Banner Boy. God damn it.
Yeah, fucking nerd.
I burnt his Pokemon cards the other day.
Yeah, he just went down to the lab, cried himself to sleep down there.
Tomorrow I'm burning his Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
I'm going to draw it out for a while, too. I got his Star Wars cards. I got his Magic decks.
I got his Bakugan. I'm totally going to smash those.
It's fun to fuck with the nerds.
President Ross, 2025.
President Ross.
It's fun to fuck with the nerds.
That's okay. They won't recognize me. I shaved the mustache. I'm pretty much a completely different guy. The American public's a fucking idiot.
Yeah, pretty much.
Shit. They can't tell that that's fucking Superman right there with Clark Clint. He's got the fucking glasses,
Clark
takes
Clint.
them off. He's
Clark Clint.
fucking whatever his name is. Clark fuck his face Clint. It's Clark Kent, Dad. I don't give a fuck. It's a fucking, we're in a Marvel thing. I can say whatever I want. I'm fucking president of the United States. Get off my fucking plane.
Where's my weed?
Even better is what if he had to fight his daughter in a plane, and then there's a part where Liv Tyler instead says, "Get off my plane." Kicks him out.
She didn't say it. Do it. She doesn't even do it as Red Hulk though. She just does it as Liv Tyler.
Like Anthony Mackie's like, I thought this was my movie the whole time. He's like, I was in the beginning, and then all of a sudden it became a Liv Tyler. Like she was the main character.
Like all those shots, he's always just standing off in the distance.
Be like, turns out like in the movie poster or whatever, or like the banner it has where it shows like Red Hulk punching the shield. It's actually just Liv Tyler punching that shield.
Yeah, no, I mean it's I know we just kind of like we're saying like I mean I want him to do good. I want the movie to do all right, just because I think that it's not that bad of a movie. It's not Marvel's by any means. They're like best movie, but at the same time, I really like this character. I really like Anthony Mackie's interpretation of Sam Wilson, and apparently he's going to be leading the Avengers in the next couple Avengers movies. So I mean, I think the thing that I guess the detriment to one of the things that gives it longevity, but also at the same time detriment to like whatever movie just came out, is after the movie comes out, it's now like, all right, where do we go from here? That's every conversation after a Marvel movie comes out. Like, all right, how's this going to click into this? How's this going to click into that? And it's kind of like, we all know it's going to Secret Wars, and they're basically going to reboot everything. If every cast member is staying, I don't know, but like, it's kind of like, I think people are just kind of waiting out for like whatever Spider-Man movie in Secret Wars. I think in Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I think Fantastic Four, and then of course X-Men once that eventually comes. I think those are
Which
all the
probably more likely come after Secret Wars.
Yeah. Well, and that is sort of the two. There's two major, I guess, what makes this movie, because some of these Marvel movies, it's like in a sense you kind of have a little story, but what they're really stacking on is two things in this one. Of course, the Secret Wars being, well, I guess there's three. Secret Wars, but we already kind of knew that. Two, Harrison Ford's just like, hey, Sam, how about starting up the Avengers? He's like, dude, you fucking hate the Avengers for 15 years. Yeah, I can fucking change. See, no mustache. No mustache? I like the Avengers now. They're pretty cool, huh? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, Sam, how about you be in charge of it? You got the shield. I mean, it makes sense. Shield, Avengers leader. I'd have to even put a whole lot of thought into this. You know what I mean? Like, you could have Bird Boy with you as your sidekick. It's like, I'm Falcon. He's like, shut the fuck up. You ain't Falcon yet. You gotta earn those wings. You gotta stop a missile with your fucking face, and then maybe you can earn those Falcon wings.
That's why he just dove right in. Like, all right, shit, here we go.
Yeah, I was gonna watch this missile blow up right at like 5 feet from my head. But
I just like the idea of like he has like in his drawer, he has a little mustache thing, just kind of like, no, I like the Avengers now. Like, then puts the mustache on. No, I hate the fucking Avengers. No, I like them. I just fucking with them back and forth. And he's just like, I can't tell if you're like fucking with me or if you're just like, I think that we should bring the Sokovia Accords back and like kill all you motherfuckers in a fucking ditch. And like, I'm just kidding. I'm just fucking with you. Got the mustache back on. Now you don't know if I'm fucking kidding, do you? He just goes back and forth.
I was going to have Thanos as my vice president. Takes it off. Just fucking kidding with you.
Or was it?
Am I? So yeah, it's setting up that Sam is the leader of the new Avengers, next Avengers, whatever they're gonna call that version of it, which I think's cool. I like the idea that you literally have Sam kind of running it, because that's really one of my favorite characters from the the original, I guess you would say, run of Avengers, and that's what makes it kind of neat is he finally does get more than just being kind of like a third wheel to like the group, just because you have all the big heavy hitters as in Captain America, Iron Man, Hulk, and Thor, and all that stuff. Now it's kind of like, okay, cool, it's giving him a run and so on like that, and I think that's pretty darn neat. And then it'd be kind of cool to see who they exactly kind of put together. I mean, we're assuming it's probably like Shang-Chi, of course, you might pull a couple old characters back.
Spider-Man
still hanging around. Spider-Man, of course.
They gotta want to use Spider-Man.
Yeah, definitely gonna. Yeah, now that Iron Man's out of the way, it's like Spider-Man's like, yep, that fucking place again, right there in the front of everybody. You know what I mean? There was that 10-year period where somehow, some way, Iron Man, for 40 fucking years, Spider-Man was in the front row. Iron Man shows up, it's like, get back to, row 3. That's where you fucking belong, Spider-Man.
Peeking over like Hawkeye's shoulder, like, hey guys.
Yeah, exactly. Takes an alcoholic to stand in the front.
Too shit-faced to feel anything if someone tries to fucking bring me down. All right, we know, Tony, we know.
See, the upside is I can keep drinking, but the suit will always hold me up.
Yeah. I'm pissing myself.
That's why I invented the Iron Man suit, is just so I could keep drinking without falling over.
And piss myself when people don't even fucking know. I'm pissing myself.
It just fucking shoots out the back. And since I'm standing in the front row, it doesn't matter. I can shit myself all day long. It used to be a problem when I was like in third fucking row, and I was like, the fuck? Why do I have to peek over here? Why is the boy gonna be in the front?
Guess what?
Guess what? It's time for a man to step up.
How many rows back is Juggernaut? Good.
Smacks him right in the face. Yeah, I'm pretty much of a dead-eye aim with this.
Just flies off. Yeah.
Yeah. That
like,
mutant fuck. Gets his fucking powers from a suit. Dude, you get your powers from a suit, too. You shut the fuck
different. Mine comes from money. That's the thing.
Yeah, his comes from a crystal thing. Oh, look at me. I'm Xavier's fucking big brother.
That's where I come in. Like, I don't know enough about Tony Stark, in all honesty. So, like I know
it sounds weird. I was actually going down like an Iron Man. I was reading a bunch of old Iron Man like comic books like in the last while. So like, it sounds strange. But I went through about like 3 or 4 different graphic novels. I was like, these are fucking good. These like Iron Man runs from like the late 70s into like 80s. Excellent.
That's what I heard. Those ones are pretty good. I have to check them out at some point. I wouldn't mind reading some Iron Man, like just to expand my horizons. I guess there's that period where like people like, I'm not gonna lie, it was a little gatekeepy, but like in 2008, 2009, like Iron Man came out, and then everyone just like, Iron Man's the greatest hero ever. He's the greatest hero ever. Like, no. You just got here. You just fucking got here. You know, it's one of those things like, I know it's kind of gatekeepy, but it was one of those things like when people like just figure something out and suddenly they become kind of like experts on them. Like, you didn't even like, not I don't like to do this, but there's that part of me who's just like, name one Iron Man villain. Go on. I'll wait. You know?
Yeah,
he's the greatest hero ever. Name one other than the one that just came out in the movie you just saw. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Well, those are the things I remember in the 90s. Like Iron Man was he was there, but like, you know, it was just like Iron Man. He was like the sixth roster of like the Avengers kind of feeling. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, he was still important, but he wasn't Cap. He wasn't Spider-Man. He wasn't Hawkeye. He wasn't, you know, even Vision and all that other stuff. It felt like, and then there's Iron Man, you know.
He always seemed to me, I think he seemed like big, not to nitpick. He always seemed bigger than like, say, Vision, but not bigger than like, you know, Thor, or not bigger than like Hulk or, yeah, Captain America even. But at the exact same time, like I can imagine, it's actually funny. Do you know what the first Iron Man movie they wanted to make?
No. What was it?
I think it was in the late 80s. And I don't think they got too far in the process. But someone somewhere just read Dark Knight Returns and was just like, fuck, that was really good. But we don't have the rights. That's Warner Brothers. We're not Warner Brothers. What if we did like an Iron Man one? What if we like for the first movie out, like Iron Man is like an old retired superhero and he's coming back into it, and it's more of a story. I know it's that was their inspiration. They were going to take it beat for beat, but just the inspiration of just kind of like one last hurrah of this old superhero in like a tech suit, and the person that guy was pitching was Clint Eastwood. But that was the first one. It didn't go nowhere, and then eventually it became more of like a cyber thriller kind of thing. It was one of those movies that took years, like 10 or 20 years almost, to come out before it did. And like at one point Tom Cruise was in talks to be Iron Man, and you know, it was always someone trying to take over his company kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh, that actually sounds kind of interesting still. I could see actually Clint Eastwood as an old, like, Tony Stark. That would be kind of a different one.
I see him as an old, I just see him as old Clint Eastwood. Maybe he has a mustache. I don't see him doing like
Flynn mustache. Just you could just see like, 'cause I picture the old Iron Man mask, because you know, like in the old comics, for some reason he just has the eyelets, and like you can see like he's like Batman in a sense. He doesn't have like a full cover like he has in like the last 35 years. So I just picture you just see the through the mask.
His eyes are always like squinting like that already, so he doesn't always have to like just always doing that. But at the exact same time, the thing with, I'll be honest. I mean, I didn't read a whole, but like all the Iron Man I knew about by that point. I knew just because when he popped in other people's books. So him coming in, like, I really think Robert Downey Jr. At the time I thought he was a little too jokey, but now I'm like, no, Robert Downey Jr. really did help bring him up, because he was a little bit of a snarky guy, but he wasn't as like funny as Robert Downey Jr. made him. And I think that's really what elevated that character, what made him so popular. So I kind of, at the time, I was a little bit like, we don't need to make this an action comedy, but now I'm like, I get it,
Yeah, no, I've come around to it a little bit more too. And strange enough, in reading those like 70s and 80s books, it's really not that far off. It's like he actually kind of is. I mean, it's just a 70s, 80s version of it, but like he still is. He's got the witty jokes. He still is. Doing, kind of dicking around with people and so on like that. He kind of fucks up every once in a while, and has to like go with it. And like the one where like there's like the demon in a bottle, I like, because it starts off because he just literally blows the living daylights out of like some like fat cat rich guy like in front of everybody. Like realistically, you're like, it's probably a good thing. Like that guy didn't look like he was a very good guy in the first place. Let's be honest. It's not like he killed like somebody good. Just he's like, oh, the fucking blaster went off on my handgun or whatever and whatnot. And then the cops are like, yeah, we believe you, Tony. Just give us the armor. You know what I mean? We'll call it good there. That homicide's under the table. Because I kind of forgot, like in the olden days, it's like Tony Stark. It's not like everybody knows that he is Iron Man. They just think that
Iron Man's his bodyguard.
Yeah, it's his bodyguard and so on like that. And even at that point too, like, because War Machine, because I would have thought, for some reason I thought War Machine was a little bit older than this, but he's in the comics, but he's not War Machine yet, so he must not turn War Machine until the 80s, like the later 80s or something. But
I can see that.
Because that kind of, it sounds weird now. The more I thought about it, I'm like, War Machine does kind of feel like he fits in with like the anti-hero kind of like that late 80s, early 90s, like, same time as Cable and all that kind of stuff. He feels like he comes in that kind of like world.
When I think back of War Machine, most of the artwork of him is like 90s artwork, most of it, like 90s and up when I think of it. So, comics. Yeah, I think he is like someone who's like 80s and 90s, because Google fucking sucks now with all the but whatever. Point. Yeah, I think he's like a 80s, 90s character generally, which makes sense though.
Yeah. Here we go. Ironically, it says he appears in 79, but that's when he's.
Yeah, they're close enough.
That's the books I read, but he didn't drop the War Machine till 92. That makes sense.
Oh, he's that new of a character. Wow, I would have assumed.
So he's a little bit, because that was the thing, is because Rhodey's in those issues, and it was like. I'm like, oh, he's gonna turn into War Machine at some point, and like he never does. It's just like, oh, he's flying a helicopter or something like that.
So when he's dropped in like Marvel versus Capcom 2 or like anything else like that, it's just like, oh, he's a brand new character. Okay.
Yeah, literally. Because I think the thing is, because when I think about those old Marvel versus Capcom games, a lot of times I think like because they have sometimes kind of odd choices, but I'm like, I think it's like, who do the Japanese like the most? And I think that was like what a lot of that stuff was one of two things, that, and then they wanted to, promote some newer characters. Because if you think about Gambit's brand new too, because that's almost kind of like the ballsy thing about the X-Men the animated series is I think Gambit came out in like 91. So they literally are like, yeah, throw the brand new guy in there. And Jubilee is like 89, so she's not very, old either. But yeah, so you kind of have all those ones there. But I want to say this real quick before I forgot, because the third one, which was like 15 minutes ago, that I said that this new Captain America movie does. The other real big thing is that they find the antimantium meteorite or whatever.
Oh, right, yeah.
And makes the island. And that's the other really big thing. It's like, shit.
Things from Eternals, yeah.
Yeah, fuck that vibranium. Fucking, the Wakandans have been like, marking that up so expensive. We got a brand new one. It's better. Adamantium. Like, you know what I mean? We're going to put Wakanda out of business now, because now we're going to go over there and, Japan and America are going to fight over it, because they're pissed at each other who gets it first.
Apparently, I heard something like...
They're literally going to have to play some Marvel versus Capcom. see who's going to take the adamantium home.
I think I heard something, I don't know if it's true, but I heard like in Captain America, First Avenger, when they're showing him the shield and all that, and they say it's made out of vibranium or whatever, I heard they had to ADR that. Originally they said adamantium, but then like, we don't have the rights to that. Like, make it vibranium.
That makes sense because that was the thing too. I remember when I first saw it, I'm like, what? I'm like, I always remember it being adamantium, because that was the whole thing. Is that like that's why Captain America and like Wolverine can't do any damage really to each other with the shield and his claws.
It is kind of like since Wakanda came, since like because everyone knew adamantium, but that was just like one studio, and then since like Black Panther came out, it was just like vibranium, and everyone just like, yeah, fuck adamantium, get the fuck out of the way, and then all of a sudden and now it's like, I'm fucking back, bitch. I'm fucking back. I'm like, oh, it's just like everyone's getting all ready for
like let's make that a whole plot point in this movie. Is we got adamantium back? Like that's like we got to reveal this real big. And like not only we got adamantium, it came in this giant fucking weird looking island that crashed into Earth.
No, that was out of Eternals. There was like a.
Oh, that is right. See, Eternals did have a purpose.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Sure.
It will be eternally remembered.
One way or the other.
Yeah.
I could see that also being one that comes out like in like 10 years. Like, actually, maybe Eternals might be the greatest superhero movie ever made. I could just see it being kind of like that,
Someone's going to write that article, I know for a fact.
But I could even see, to go back to this, even though Eternals wasn't that great of a movie, I can say it had more of a look and more of kind of a signature than this movie did, at least visually. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's I will to give Eternals like its a little bit of credit and whatnot. It was different. I mean, I'll say that It did feel a little bit different. It had its moments. It overall wasn't. That was about all. It had a couple moments, and then the rest was kind of yeah.
It was just kind of a whatever movie, which was too unfortunate, but it is what it is. I am kind of curious to know, like, where they all, like, how much of it's going to link into, because after Secret Wars or whatever, is it all going to be, like, how much of it stays, how much of it is, like, completely rebooted, and what do you do? Do you just go full? Because I think we are getting to the point of people being a little, like, fatigued, and it's kind of like, sometimes maybe you do just want to, like, call it good. Like, make Endgame, cover up your couple of loose ends, and then give it like maybe some side projects, some small like mini series or something like that, and then like fresh start, but coming at it from a different angle. I don't know, because they I guess they're trying to, because it's like it's hard to get excited when they come out so frequently.
Well, I'll use this as my example. Is picture from Star Wars Episode 6 to Star Wars Episode 1. You know what I mean? So what is it, 83 to 99? You know what I mean? Like that's a large jump of time. And granted, there's video games and books and stuff in between that kind of hold you over till then. But the whole point is that that's what made Episode 1 such a ginormous event, because it's like, oh shit, there hasn't been a Star Wars for this long, and it's fucking come back. Like, it almost probably would have been a good thing to do Endgame and then literally don't make anything for like 5 years. Make people want Marvel again. So that like when it does come out, because even 5 years, it's not that long really. That's one like length of like a Legend of Zelda, like like a big game taking to come
main
out.
Title.
Yeah, like
unless it's Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, unless
Breath of the Wild, the Tears of the Kingdom. You have to wait 7 or 8 years.
Tears of the Kingdom, which is just literally like glorified DLC. But yeah, like that. Just that probably would do it. It's like, in a sense, it's like they felt like they just need to put some filler movies in between, but probably because they just didn't want that cash train to end. I get it, but like if you really wanted to make that next wave of Marvel really pop, I think if you did sort of take a break, don't do any TV shows, don't you could maybe do like animated show, something.
That's
like
what I meant.
X-Men '97, but don't do any of the live action ones. Like really hold that off for a while, and once again make people really like go like, oh man, I fucking can't wait for this. Let that anticipation build. And I think that would have been kind of cool, but I mean, at the same time, I don't mind. I've seen all these ones that have come out, and there's never been one where you walk in, you're like, this is fucking garbage. What the fuck was this? Never that. You might walk out and just go, but well, whatever. Like, and if that's the worst, that's not the worst thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, but I guess it's just so many in a row.
You go out, there's like a poll, like, what'd you think of the new Marvel movie? Oh, that's what the last 5 guys said too.
Like the font gets smaller as the trails off. It's also like, that's the thing though. It's like the last, like, they went all because like I honestly think that's the reason why this movie is like because first off it's not better than any previous Captain America movie, which is unfortunate, or as good as any previous Captain America movie. But then at the exact same time, there's already so many Marvel movies that were just in a row that you just can't help but like this should be better. Like this should be better. But at this exact same time, it's like it's better than other ones. It's definitely better than other ones, and it's fun. But at the exact same time, it's just like I think that, like I said, if this movie of this quality would have came out during Phase 1, Phase 2, or Phase 3, I honestly think people would be like, it's fun, but it's like not as good as like Winter Soldier, or it's not as good as like Ant-Man 1, you know, or Guardians. I think people would have said that, and that would have been fine. I don't think that because this movie's definitely better than like Ant-Man 2, Ant-Man 3, The Marvels, you know, it's better than like it's better than
Shang-Chi. I think it's better than
better than Doctor Strange 2, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, so it's like you know, I think that people are just like want more from Marvel. They want to have that same feeling they got when they first saw the Avengers or Endgame or Spider-Man Homecoming, you know.
Yeah, well, and the downfall is that the bar gets raised every single time one of those like next big movies kind of comes out. That even if this movie like once again like say I'll say this, say this movie came out after Winter Soldier and it was just called like the Falcon movie, you know what I mean? And that's pretty much what it was. So it's kind of the same story in a sense, but maybe it was just it was the Falcon solo movie. I bet you it would have probably been like people would have been like, oh yeah, this is cool, man. It's, Falcon gets his own movie. It's a little in between one, but as we're waiting for Civil War or something like that. I think that that then it probably would have worked well. I think it's just because it's so later on, and it is kind of a somewhat simple movie, but it's not simple in a bad way, but just once again, you just kind of, especially I think because I think this is the biggest problem. It carries the Captain America title, which technically Captain America 1, 2, and 3 I could kind of consider like the pinnacle of like the MCU movies. Like realistically, I think my favorite ones are those 3 Captain America movies. Throw in Avengers 2 and maybe Guardians 1, maybe something like that. Something, maybe even Avengers 1. I actually kind of came around and enjoyed that one much more than I even remember. But so it's one of those ones, I think by carrying that title, and especially since Civil War was such a big one, that it does feel like, once again, I think if you just, my thing is you just need to throw a little bit more Hulk stuff in there since this is such a Hulk movie anyways, and I think that would have just added, whether that be regular Bruce Banner Hulk or I like Liv Tyler, she Red Hulk. I think that's the great idea right there. I think that was the missed opportunity. Just her and her dad, just the idea of both of them having like this strained relationship, and like how are they gonna settle it? By slugging it out in front of the White House. Ooh yeah.
We're blaring like Metallica.
Yeah, give it like one of those like almost like the Daredevil movie where it's like, well, we gotta sell some fucking soundtracks here. You know what I mean? We got some angst kids out there that they're angry at their parents and whatnot. They just got a driver's license. They're gonna need to blast this soundtrack.
No, fuck the angst kids. Go with like divorced dads that like grew up listening to Anthrax. Go with that. All right.
Go with that. You know what I mean? And this is the last $15 they had was coming to this movie. Before they were going to go get a bottle and hang out on the back corner of the street.
watch like Thunderbolt Ross and Betty like slug it out to like caught in a mosh, so.
There's like 45 minutes of the movie.
Just that song on a loop.
just fighting across literally all of Washington, D.C. As I said, I feel that was kind of it. Just for the fact that it's got a Captain America title, it sort of needed to be a little bit larger than just a general movie. You know what I mean? And yeah. As I said, but we can say it's good. It's both worth checking out for sure. You know what I mean? I don't think it's one of those ones. I think especially if you kind of know what you're going into, you can kind of go, okay, cool. There's this, I'm not expecting, all these extra bonuses to show up in here. We'll just go with what it is. Then you'll enjoy yourself and whatnot. But
we'll leave soon. But what I really hope Spider-Man is the next one. I'm sorry. You were gonna. We had another thought there. I kind of like cut you off.
I was
there.
done there. You go with whatever Spider-Man thought you have is.
They're going back and forth for a minute because like Sony was like, we really want to do our like our Venom verse and more of a verse, coming into the MCU. Like, fuck, Sony, come on, man. Like, okay, here's our idea for a Spider-Man movie. Wilson Fisk becomes mayor of New York. Outlaws, superheroes from New York. Spider-Man and Daredevil work together, and there's some like lower level villains that are like working for Fisk as the police force essentially. Like, yeah, sounds like fun, but what if we put Venom in there? Like, no. What if we put in the Sinister Six? We got our own Sinister Six we'd like to do. Like, yeah, what if you got like Morbius? You got Madam Web. You got like, oh my fucking god, So like, what if you bring in Noel? Like, oh my fucking god, really? And now like they're like, yeah, okay, we'll take a break from all these. For a minute, that's what like it seemed like they were gonna do. They meant like got out that like that was gonna be like Daredevil, Spider-Man working together against Kingpin, who has and he has his own like task force of like villains trying to stop superheroes. And I'm like, that sounds so fucking awesome. And then it's just like, yeah, but what if Venom was in it? Like, fuck's sake, Sony, come the fuck on, And now Sony finally backed off, so hopefully that's the movie we're getting. I don't know if that is the movie we're getting, but that would be so fucking awesome.
Yeah, no, I kind of hope so too. That actually does sound sweet. I'd love to also see Punisher thrown in a Spider-Man, and I'm fine with just doing PG-13. If it's with Spider-Man, he could be a PG-13 Punisher because he can just be, in a sense, what he was when he first appeared in Spider-Man. But I just like the idea of like almost like a triple movie where it's like, okay, there's Daredevil, Punisher, and Spider-Man. And maybe at first like they don't really get along, but then they realize that they all are on the same team. They just have slightly different ways of going about it.
Just imagining.
Like, fucking Matt Murdock's always got to bring up that Catholicness every single time. It's at some point he's like, did you go to confession today, Peter? I think you got some things you need to say. Damn it, man.
I'm a boy of science. Well, at the same time, I could also just see something to the effect of like in an R-rated version of just like Peter, like Tom Holland, like, kind of spazzing out, being all Tom Holland-y and kind of quippy. And then like Frank Grillo Punisher just being, you shut the fuck up. I'm like, oh. Okay.
Frank Castle.
Frank Grillo is playing.
Okay.
He's playing Frank Castle. Is that his name, Frank Grillo? What's his name? No, it's not Frank Grillo. That's a different actor. Who's the?
Are you talking about the dude from the TV show?
Yeah, it's not Frank Grillo. No, Frank Grillo is someone else. He. God, what's that dude's name? Punisher.
I always like that guy. I'm totally going to blank.
Yeah, I forgot his name too. John Berthal. Yeah, like John Berthal. John Berthal just telling people like, stop on. Bro, you need to shut the fuck up. Like, not like no like funny like quip, just like serious dead stare. Like that point, like no one's trying to be funny. Just like, I'm gonna fuck you up, bro. Like, oh, okay, all right, cool. Just like he just kills the momentum of any funny scene.
Well, I think that would make for a fun dynamic. Is that you have Peter being kind of Peter and just having his goofy one-liners and trying to make fun of everything, and then Punisher just taking. It's like, no, this is fucking serious. This lady was just raped and murdered in the street, and you're making a fucking one-liner about it.
Well, let's be honest.
Who's gonna go and explain this to her family? Peter, I'm sending you up there. I want you to go talk to their fucking parents and say to their fucking face that one-liner you just had.
Let's be 100% honest. Not to be the couple guy. Well, technically in the comics, not to be that guy, but let's be honest. If there was like someone who was raped and murdered, Peter wouldn't be coming in like swinging upside down. Well, I guess that's why you check your drink. Wah, wah, wah. He's like the last person to be doing that.
Yeah, no. And then I just like that Matt's kind of like the in-between, maybe he's trying to be sort of like fatherly figure because people will make him a little bit older or whatnot. So he's got his ways, be like, I like this Peter boy, but sometimes I think he's going on the wrong path. That one-liner he said. I think he's got some. I think he's got some deep issues he needs to work out. Believe me, I would know.
A 4-year-old gets hit and killed by like a speeding car. He just comes like swings in upside down, hanging there. Like, I guess that's why we look both ways at the screen. Wow, wow. Like, it's like those ill-timed jokes. Punisher's like, Peter! Like, freaking Murdoch is there like, oh, well, boys be boys, I guess, you know. I don't know why I went Bob Ross there, but you know.
Yeah. But yeah, I hope this, you know, I think from this point on though, I think a lot of these Marvel movies too, I think they might start shifting because, you know, in a sense this Captain America one's sort of like in the, you could tell it's in that last kind of generation of it. You know, the movie was made pretty much, you know, years prior to this, you know, so I think as it kind of goes on, I really think once it kind of gets like that Fantastic Four era, it will be like feeling like, oh, we're in like a new generation of, you know, movies here. And I think that might start to be, hopefully they'll, you know, kind of change the tone just a fraction, just enough, maybe go a little bit heavier in the comic bookness, you know. I think Thunderbolts is still going to be like an in-between road. I think it still looks fun, but like I think that one's going to be like almost an experimental movie. That's the best way I feel that one's going to be. Like, I think it'll be, once again, I think they're really trying to ape the Suicide Squad. That's not saying that's a bad thing, you know. And I mean Suicide Squad as in the tone that the movie
movies,
went with, the last movie, yeah.
Well, I feel like whatchamacallit, Thunderbolts looks like it's trying to have more of a distinct style, which maybe it will. It looks like a lot of gray, but at the exact same time, it could still work in that way. I haven't read a lot of Thunderbolts, so, but at the same time, I think that when I was talking about movies that have a style, like Marvel movies that have like a particular style or look to it, and sometimes it just looks like an off the assembly line Marvel movie, which those can still be good, but maybe they don't stand out as much as like a Guardians or a Spider-Man or whatever. Fantastic Four really does look like someone's vision. Like someone's really going in there with their own like take and their own vision of it, and it looks pretty good. Have you seen the trailer for it?
No, I was really hoping they were going to play it during this movie, and instead I just got the Thunderbolts one. So,
well, first off, it actually doesn't even take place like it's an MCU film, but doesn't actually take place in the MCU. It takes place within the multiverse, and it's like a different alternate like 60s like universe. Like it has a whole like 60 like retro futurism 60s vibe to it.
Well, I'm 100% down because I always am partial towards the Fantastic Four. I keep finding myself, I keep picking up new Fantastic Four graphic novels, and I always enjoy them every single time. You know what I mean? So
I want to actually.
I think it'd be nice just to finally see somebody finally get it totally. As I said, I've enjoyed some of the Fantastic Four movies as time goes on, but like it feels like it'd be nice to see it get really dialed in. That's the thing, you know. Because I always say, like, you know, the one in the early 2000s for the time period, like, you know, there's not like it's writing against so much other stuff. I mean, that's only like the fourth or fifth movie of like that era of superhero stuff. But you know, past that point, you know, the other ones are kind of they're okay and so on like that. But I really think that if they get it right, Fantastic Four, it's like you can show people like, oh, this is pretty badass.
Well, also like Galactus is the bad guy of this one. You don't get a total good clear shot of him, but it's not like he's not a fucking cloud. He's
a giant cloud.
He's a giant man. He's a giant man with a fucked up hat or whatever, you know. So yeah,
it's just a giant man with a fucked up hat.
Yeah, that's what his Wikipedia says. Yeah. That's all it says. Go to Wikipedia, that's all it says. You type in Galactus.
Giant spaceman, fucked up hat.
Eats planets.
For
a real dick. Yeah.
Got a big dick, too. Fucking out there dick swinging like it's a baseball with the universe.
Playing croquet with his dick and some planets. Yeah.
That's the opening of the Fantastic Four movie. He's just like, man, it's so boring being the only big dick guy in space.
He's just standing in the middle of a fucking galaxy with his dick hanging out, still fully clothed, but his dick's hanging out, and he just looks at the planet below him, just swings it, just like, knocks at another planet, just destroys a whole galaxy. Like, It used to be fun. Just swinging like it used to be fun, destroying and eating planets and like smacking them with my fucking dick. But now it's just like just like I don't know, just.
He's like, people used to think that my fucked up hat was cool, and now the kids just make fun of it anymore. They just point and laugh. So then I take my dick out, swat the planet, have it ricochet off about 3 things and eat them, but it still doesn't satisfy me. Though that they're dead and eaten, and then I shoot them out into space, and that's what a meteor shower is for you guys that don't know.
This is the first 2/3 of the movie. The last third is just like all the Fantastic Four shit within like 20 minutes. All the stuff you see in the trailer, last 20 minutes of the movie.
It's just like this. It's just like one man show. Space.
One dude was stupid.
Just some real long monologues. then there's a lot of scenes where there's no talking for like 10 minutes.
Dude in a stupid fucking hat with his pants down, just walking around a green screen with like, okay, swing your dick right there. That's gonna be fucking Mars.
And so that's what we got to look forward to with the Fantastic Four's new movie and Galactus coming out,
Yeah. We can only hope, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Shit, I mean, people would say, like, even if it like walked away with like 20 on Rotten Tomatoes or something, people walk away being like, you gotta see this. You gotta see this.
Yeah, believe
if you can, IMAX 3D. IMAX 3D if you can.
They really doubled down. You know what? We really thought 3D was a going out fad, but the new Fantastic Four movie gives you a whole new reason why you need to see it in 3D. In fact, 3D televisions are coming back because of it.
Just putting that out there.
But yeah. Well, no matter what, I'm looking forward to all these ones coming out. I think it's going to be a cool new run of things. So yeah, I think it's that one that they kind of had to get past a little bit of a lull period, and maybe the lull period is just their way of making people wait in a sense, and then being like, okay, well, let's give it some new energy. We got some new characters to finally work with, of course, Fantastic Four and X-Men. I think that will change up things a lot, and then go from there. But yeah, I feel no matter what, still go see Captain America 4. Support fucking Sam the Falcon. Doing all his American deeds and whatnot, and learning to live life without drugs, and obviously, apparently, the ending message tells you, fuck that, give me the fucking super soldier serum. That was like the moral of the story. It's all fun and games until somebody fucking releases, a Red Hulk on you.
He still won, technically. He still technically won, so,
Yeah.
Justice, his anti-drug. There you go.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, I think it's still worth it and whatnot. And in my opinion, I think it was actually one of the better ones. So I'll say this: ever since the post-Endgame era, I think it's probably my top 5 favorite of like that time period.
Post-Endgame,
probably number 5, but but I still liked it more than like quite a few of them. So. I think it's worth going there. But till then, you can always check out all our other good old Manoin stuff on YouTube and Spotify, old podcasts, comic books like Pizza Boys, and even some of our old animations and what have yous. Till then, I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Ryan Dunnigan.
And we'll see you some other time.
Later, folks.